Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Behind the Fire podcast. I am the amazing, the wonderful, the incredible Melissa Washington, and I am joined by Adrian Morrison. How are you?
I didn't get any adjectives.
Do you have any adjectives for yourself?
Amazing.
Those are mine.
Handsome. I
Okay.
think that too. Or something else, whatever.
What about pronouns?
He.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he is good? He, him, her, his?
Yeah. I'm not like a, they or whatever. Okay.
All right, so just to provide some context, I am from Tier 1 leadership, which is the original leadership of Fresh Fire, and you are from Tier 2.
Yep.
But you're a little bit more than Tier 2. You are heir to the Iron Throne. How does it feel?
It's kind of scary. That's like the first word that kind of comes to mind. It's kind of scary. I didn't expect it, but yeah, that's how I don't know. I feel uneasy about it, really.
Okay. A little uneasy?
Yeah.
Exhilarating?
That too. I'm
Some
also
excitement?
excited. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I'm excited because I feel like things are going to change a lot, and I feel like that's a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those that know me know that I'm a big sports fan, so a lot of my life lessons I drew from basketball and football and stuff. So one of the things is like athletes, there are athletes that are born with natural talent, and then you have athletes that work towards where they are today. Sometimes you have a little bit of both. You have like a natural talent person like a LeBron James who also puts in the work ethic, the sacrifices, the diet changes, not going out to parties and clubs or on game nights, things like that. So can you speak a little bit about your ascension to taking over Fresh Fire, and what are some of the sacrifices that might have come along?
A lot. I feel like I've always been a quiet person, but I feel like isolation was a big sacrifice. I feel like when you are chosen for anything, leadership wise, there's a certain level of difference that you have to have. It's like a pressure almost, where you have to kind of hold yourself to a different standard, and God holds you to like a different standard. Isolation, not having as close of like a knit or connection with people that I used to have connections with. It's kind of hard because I feel like it can be lonely at times. It can be like I'm in it by myself. It can feel as if it's just me and God, and that's kind of frustrating because I don't want it to be me and God. I want me and God and people,
right?
Because you can't do anything without people, but you can't help it sometimes, I guess.
Did it take you a long time to come to that realization that you might not be able to bring everybody along with you?
Yeah, it took a really hard lesson for me to learn that. But I feel like if you don't do it on your own, God kind of forces that kind of lesson on you. And I didn't learn it because I chose to learn it, but God kind of was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna take you through that to kind of.
Was there a specific incident? Do you want to tell us about that one thing that kind of was like, all right, God, I hear you?
Like a general sense, it was just like I knew that I had to kind of be a certain place in my mind, and I can't be around like mindsets if I am around that, if that makes sense. So I feel like I wanted to do something, and God was like, no, you're not gonna do it. And I chose to do it anyway, and God was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna show you. And then after that, it was kind of like a pull away from the things that I wanted to do. And it's not fun. I don't like that. I wouldn't recommend it, but like that's kind of what happened.
Okay. Do you feel like Fresh Fire has shaped you or molded you in any way? Like, what do you feel like Fresh Fire has done for you personally, spiritually?
So let me tell you a story, right? So
story time.
I didn't know Pastor Email at all. I tell him all the time I didn't know who he was. He swears that I did, but I didn't really know him. I just knew that he was a guy who directed the choir, and that he was always like talking in the front row. That's like pretty much all I know. 'Cause he was very, very talkative. But then after Pastor Solomon left, he came up to me and was like, "Hey, cool, you gonna sing? I don't sing," and that was pretty much it. And he just walked away. I'm like, who is this guy told me that? Like, what the heck? And then I ended up kind of growing my gift as not just a worship leader, that's the easy part, but as like a leader. Because I didn't really see myself in that because I think that I have things about me that don't qualify me to be a leader. not just mentally, but like I stutter. I don't understand how I can lead people when the primary communication to lead people is by talking. But then I also looked at kind of Moses, how he also had a stutter, but God shaped the plan around that thing. So I don't think I can make that get in the way of what like God's called me to do.
Yeah. So, like, when you first started singing that Fresh Fire, we used to, you know, it was kind of like a running joke that you would just stand in one spot, like 10 toes down, like that was you.
Yeah.
And now to see your development, you know, just exulting and tearing the stage down. And
Out of breath, but
out of
exalted.
breath. Okay. You want to throw like a fitness something in there maybe?
I used to go to the gym, but not anymore. It's me and a couple other people that also are out of breath when we are up on the stage. Not to call any names, but
Or point an elbow?
behind the camera.
Oh, God. So, all right. So you used to stand just flat-footed with the mic, not moving, not anything like that. And now you seem to have, like, the stage is your own. Do you find, like, you were practicing that, or is that something that just came with the time, you just got more comfortable on stage? Speak to that a little bit.
I think that I used to always do it in the mirror, and it was easy at home. But I'm not one to fake it, so I can kind of get up there and act like I have that. But if I'm acting and I don't really have that confidence, then it's like for show, and I don't believe in doing things just because like for show. So I would do that at home. I would be like, "Come on, everybody, put your hands together." And then when I get up there, I'd be like, "Okay, amazing God." So it's like a difference. But then like when I started kind of dedicating my life to God, like not to be deep, but like, when that kind of started, then that kind of translated into what I already rehearsed.
Right.
Yeah.
When do you feel like that switch happened for you spiritually? Because you started, we've been here for 10 years. So you were like, what, 14, 15?
Yeah, something crazy like that.
Yeah, you were like a baby.
Yeah.
So when did it like switch in your head, like, all right, I have to take this a little bit more serious. Let me get in my word. Let me, start praying a little bit more.
I think I want to say maybe like 2017, 2018 is when I got filled. I was like, I'm gonna go on a fast, and I'm like all like deep. I'm gonna go on a fast on social media. I'm not gonna eat no food. Then I guess from there it kind of clicked, because even like before then I had a huge anger problem. I used to be hitting walls, like fighting people, like, and you wouldn't think that because I have like a very meek personality.
Right.
But I had a huge anger problem, and since that it was lit like a light bulb, and it just flipped in my head. And of course, fear was there and stuff, but I kind of let that go and just whatever happened.
Okay. Do you think you would be who you are today without like Fresh Fire or Pastor Email influence over you?
You're not a chance. You're not a chance. I feel like Fresh Fire is a huge part of my growth, and even how everyone who's in Fresh Fire now, it was like a stepping stone for them to grow into kind of what like God has for them. I feel like that is what it has been and what it will be, to like kind of groom me as a leader, groom me as a worship leader, and just a person overall, like kind of spiritually, mentally, emotionally. How have you grown from like Fresh Fire?
I didn't know you was flipping the switch.
A little slide or something.
I would say I've grown like pretty much like you. Like I'm really like meek. I know people don't think that I am, but I am like a still, gentle spirit at nature. So I don't really like to be around and in mics and on stages and things like that. But I felt like Fresh Fire really propelled me into getting out of my comfort zone and getting out of, the shell of just, I'll just be here, I'll be behind the scenes. Just dedicating more of my, time to God and prayer. And I don't really fast much. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I do not fast. I do not enjoy fast. I do not enjoy consecrations. It's like I would do anything, but please, Lord. But yeah, just praying and spending more time reading my word and like not just reading it, but like really studying what I just read and trying to get an understanding of like the context around it, and applying that to my life. And I don't know if I would have had that maybe, because like before Fresh Fire, it was just like church was just,
Yeah, yeah.
it was just the same. No,
Yeah.
no disrespect, no shot to anybody, but it was
Right.
just like, all right, we're gonna wear these robes, we're gonna sing these hymns,
Yeah.
like somebody's gonna say the welcome, somebody's gonna pray the mics, and like
very
read the
monotonous,
scripture.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
just
I
like,
hear you.
all right, I've been doing this for like the past 25 years, and it's like what are we doing? So Fresh Fire was like a reignitement of like, you know, a spiritual desire. It's like,
hear you.
yeah, we got something new, we got something fresh, we have something different. Let's see where this could go. So yeah, that's what Fresh Fire has meant to me these past 10 years.
If you could say one thing was like a major regret, like as in like the past 8 years, well not a regret, not a regret, but kind of something that you would be like, I wish I didn't go through that, like in this past 8 years, like from Fresh Fire, like I wish I could change this. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't want to, you know,
Yeah, I hear you.
divulge and get people in trouble and stuff, but
Like a general type of thing.
the transition I would have liked that to have been
Yeah, I hear you.
better handled, because it was always evident that it was, you know, it was supposed to be email, and it was kind of like a limbo for a while when Pastor Solomon was trying to figure out what he wanted to do, what was his next personally, and it was kind of like but it was like, you know, it was a little disrespectful. Because it was always email. Even like behind the scenes, a lot of what was going on, he was like the engine behind Fresh Fire.
Right.
So yeah, I would say the transition when Pastor Solomon left could have been a little more like ready.
Right. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm passing that to you.
Yeah, from like our side, like from the actual young people, and no, like Chief Pastor Solomon, like we love him, like we're all good. But just our experience, it was like, hey, where'd you go? Like there was no announcement from him. It was just like, like Pastor Deb was like, all right, cool. I passed the email.
Right.
It was like, what?
Yeah.
So it was like a weird, awkward transition.
Yeah.
But you can tell it was God because like where we're at now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say that for you guys, staying pat, like staying around even during that, because that was a confusing time. Even for like Table One, it was just like what's going on? Like what's happening? And email was just like, you know, just stick around. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. And to everyone's credit, we really did stick around, you know, to see what would happen. And you know, it paid off just sticking around. And kudos to you guys too, like Tier 2, the younger ones, because y'all were at an age where it was like, we don't gotta be here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, you guys' ages were like leaving the church and doing other things, but you guys stayed around, and I think it paid off for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have any more questions.
You could just speak to a little bit of Pastor Email's influence on you, personally, spiritually, however he has, if he has.
If he has. I could really honestly talk all day about it. I didn't know him at first, but for the past like pretty much 8 years, like since he's been like a youth pastor, he's been like almost like a dad to me. I'm not gonna cry today. You know what I mean? I'm gonna cry later, not today. But I know that when I didn't see like things good about myself, when I thought that I had so many dislike qualifications about who I am, and not even leading Fresh Fire, but just as a worship leader, he kind of instilled in me to always love God. And once you have that as like a crux for your life, then everything else can be built upon that. And not just kind of spiritually, but as like physically. Like there's been times where he's given me like hundreds of dollars and I'm like, hey,
I know.
He was like, hey, like I know you need this, like whatever. And at a time where I really need it, and he didn't have to do that. Like I'm not like, you know, I'm not his son, or I'm not, you know, his like family, but he like sees me as that. He's giving me advice. He's helped me. He's honestly like the reason why I want to do this. I don't want to say too much. I don't get
Can you see yourself being that to someone behind you, say like a TJ, Buster,
I would,
some of those younger boys?
I would really hope so. I think that meant so much to me because I didn't have a dad growing up in my life. So kind of having him there to like fill a void. And I feel like I would hope that if and when that time does come, I can fill that void in someone else who, even if they have a dad in their life or even if they have a mentor, that I can kind of push them to a different place, even if it's not being like a pastor or like a preacher or whatever. Like if they want to be like a business owner, like a CEO, I can push them in that area that they want to go in.
Yeah. All right, so what's next for Fresh Fire under the reign of Adrian Morrison? Is it going to be like a Hamilton type of thing? You're going to be singing your sermons?
Shut up, man. Yes and no. I feel like I was always kind of scared about, not kind of matching him, but like when everyone's kind of used to like a certain thing, it's like,
comparing
bro,
and stuff,
like, I can't preach to this guy. But then I kind of realized that I have to use what I have and make and kind of shape the culture of Fresh Fire now to what's already in me. So it won't be 2 services anymore. It'll be like, kind of 1 service a month, kind of take it slow, make it more intimate, and just kind of see what God does. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning
sir.
in. Thank you so much for listening. Please join us again for the next episode. I don't know who it's going to be. Just be surprised like we were when we had to do it.
Literally.
And be on the lookout for everything from Fresh Fire. Follow us on Instagram at Pilgrim Fresh Fire. We're on Facebook, Pilgrim Fresh Fire Youth Church. And I believe YouTube. I'm not sure. They'll put it somewhere in the description, somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, join us again. Thank you so much for listening, and we love you. Peace.